Easy Blue Fashion Variety Show. I'm Nancy Blizzard, your host, and my guest today is William Rockwell. Welcome, William.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So I am owner of Rockwell Masks. We work in leather. We work with a lot of theater customers, TV, films, anybody pretty much looking for a costume. And we are an international brand, just surpassed 30 countries worldwide. So
Wow.
yeah, so definitely in a grateful situation right now with the business. So.
And how did you get started?
I've been an artist since I was 2. I was raised in definitely humble beginnings. We didn't have a whole lot of money, but what we did have was a lot of support for creative endeavors. And a lot of my younger years, especially all my school binders and everything like that are filled with doodles and drawings and that sort of thing. When I got into high school, I focused more from like the 2D drawing, and I had a lot of heavy-handed kind of style of drawing and, pen drawings and that sort of thing. And then I started to move into more 3D and sculpture, and I really fell in love with sculpture. I do metal sculpture. I'm in a gallery in the Rhino Art District in Denver with a lot of my metal work there. So I kind of started with 2D, and then I went into sculpting, and then I went and did leather, which is really a lot of 2D art that meets sculpting. My mom actually showed me a video of a gentleman making like Renaissance Festival masks, and he had a brief tutorial on how he was doing that. So I ended up, about 10 years later, I got the funds together to try to actually make it myself. And as it turns out, I bought all the wrong stuff and all the wrong leather, and it didn't work, obviously. So I spent the next 6 months kind of learning how to do it and that sort of thing, and I spent a lot of hours learning what's the proper leather type, because there's a right kind and a wrong kind. There's garment leathers, and then there's tooling leather and stuff like that. I work with vegetable tan leather, so I had to learn all the ins and outs, what tools you need to actually work with. And once I did that, then I bought all the right stuff. I went ahead and did it, and became passionately in love with it. The kind of my mission statement, I suppose, is to kind of give people confidence. I feel like confidence is really your key driver to success in anything you're doing. If you feel confident, you will be successful. So I feel like, if I give somebody, a mask that they feel proud of, we as humans, our identity is on our face. So if you wear a mask that you're proud of, you have an identity that you're confident about, and you're more likely to be successful in what you're doing. And again, that is a lot to do with the theatrics and the pro wrestlers and that sort of thing. They come to me truly to give them a new identity, something that the fans will grasp a hold of.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
If I'm able to even just a little bit give my customers a little bit more confidence, and even if it's just wearing a costume for Halloween on that particular day, it's great. These are 2 of the masks that I've been working on that are actually just wrapped up. So this one on the left here is a bunny mask for a horror films. And then this is for a pro wrestler. Callisto is his name. He's a WWE wrestler.
Do you see masks being a part of upcoming fashion shows? Do you see that trend?
I think it should be. It's, they have headpieces. They have all kinds of really cool and interesting, outfits and stuff like that. I think masks should definitely be a more integral part of it. Your face is just as much something that can have fashion related as your body or your shoes or...
I would love to take a look at one of your masks, and I understand we have a model, Angel, today.
Yes, absolutely. Angel Sheffer will be wearing right now the Raven mask. This is the most popular design that is ready for sale or resale, I guess, non-custom commission. So this mask is a 3-layered Raven mask. It's, as you can see, it's a lot of tooling into the leather, a lot of carving.
Angel's got another mask on.
Yes. So this is another kind of a newer mask. I've done a few of these trees. I actually used to have one that was more of a summer tree, and I recently did a shoot that was inspired on the 4 seasons. So this is a spring mask. It's the exact same material. This one's actually lined with deer hide, and I've done a little bit more brush painting on this particular design. Try to add those blended petals. This is definitely one of the more challenging pieces. There's a lot of intricate leather work, and it's really easy to cut one of those little roots off or one of the branches off, and then you do that, you have to start all over. That's the joy of getting it finished, I suppose. This was the first multi-layered, complex design that I worked on, and it took me actually, I'd say, about a month of just thinking and thinking and thinking. And it doesn't seem like it when it would be that hard until you're actually trying to well, how do I make this flat leather actually become a three-dimensional shape? And that's oftentimes the big challenge.
Well, tell me about this mask.
So this is just a quick design I put together. This is kind of a Catwoman-inspired design. I'd actually put this together for a local fashion show, Unique Fashion Week. Yeah.
All right, you have to tell me about this mask too.
Yeah, so this is another early design. This is, as you can see, I have an affinity for birds. So this one's an owl mask, a horned owl mask.
They really come alive when they're on someone.
Thank you. Make that screeching sound like a barn owl. There's a couple of different avenues for people to purchase a mask. So they'll either just purchase something directly off the website, which is pre-made, ready to go. The majority of people will ask for a custom commission, and what they'll do is come to me with an idea, and I'll make something based on that. I will start off by doing at least one detailed sketch for each of the masks. I try as often as possible to create designs that are adjustable enough to where there's a margin of error of 4 inches or something like that. If it really needs to be exact, then I do need to get measurements, and it's usually hat measurements and then face measurements individual to the distance from your eyes to your nose, distance from eyes to your mouth.
And how difficult is it to work with leather?
That is a tricky question to answer.
Yeah.
As with all things, there are a lot of different steps. There are a lot of things to learn. It took me a while to get the hang of it. You really do need to come up with creative solutions for some of the more difficult projects. Each of these is tooled by hand, kind of with the different leather working tools. You start off, you carve it, and then you shape the individual lines, and then you actually shape the leather around a form. Once it dries, then you have to paint it. So this particular one is both brush painted as a base coat, and then I airbrush the different colors onto it afterwards. I also made a mask for a horse, which was quite exciting, quite fun. I bought a form for that to shape the mask, but the horse was huge that I made it for, so I had to get custom measurements. It was a dragon mask, so it covered the entire snout all the way to the nose, and it went all the way back behind, and it had horns. It was a Halloween horse show. The horse wore it well. They won an award.
Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. I love that the horse, can you imagine?
Oh, it was so fun.
Mask for an animal.
Yeah, I want to
love
make a
it.
bunch more if I get the opportunity.
When someone approaches you with something and they ask you for something, do you ever get nervous, I can't do that?
I heard a quote recently, actually, that's kind of how I've run things a little bit, and that was, if you're given a challenge that you don't think you can do, say yes, and then figure out how to do it, because you can do it. And I've never taken a challenge that I couldn't do. I've taken challenges that I felt like I maybe can't do them, but I'm always pretty open about it. I'll be like, I don't know if I can do it, but I really want to try. I'll accept the project and learn how to do it. At the end of the day, it's all so enjoyable that even the challenges are something that's fun, especially when you come to the other end of them, because you always will. No matter how challenging life or anything gets, there's always the other side of that, and that storm will pass.
Have you ever started a mask and maybe it didn't turn out or didn't turn out the way and you've had to start all over?
Oh yeah, it's never a waste. It's one of those things. It's a learning experience, and most things you learn have a cost to them, and that is generally the time and materials on a wasted project. But it's usually something that oftentimes my projects are commissions and stuff like that, so I still have to do the project anyway. So that's the joy of it, is while it didn't work out this particular way of doing it, I have to learn the proper way of doing it, and I still have to do the project, which is a really, really exciting process.
So it's been kind of a long road for you, but it's all been worth it sounds like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been challenging. There's been a lot of late nights, juggling work and trying to build this as a full-time business has been really challenging, but so worth it. And it's one of those things, it hasn't ever really felt like work. It's something I'd be doing for free anyways. I love to do it. So I actually just made the transition about a month ago from a corporate day job, full-time, doing this in the off time, and to full-time now, and that's it saved me from not having to be up till 3 in the morning anymore, so that's been great. I'm working with a circus, and they're going to use some of my masks in a theater production in August. Well, I'd love to get into some big stores and TV shows and movies and stuff like that. If somebody comes to me and asks me to make them something, I really try to put 100% of my effort into it. It's more a thing of wanting them to have something that they're really proud of at the end. I just feel like if you really focus on something you love and you're passionate about, and you really spend the time to do it, then I think that you'll become very skilled at that, and then that reflects as what people will call talent. I tell people I don't believe in talent. I believe in dedicated focus towards a skill. So if you're really driving towards something, then you'll become talented. Maybe Ben Franklin, I don't know who said it, but if you do something you enjoy, you don't work a day in your life. So I guess it's kind of feels like that.
Thank you for watching the Daisy Blue Fashion Variety Show here at Denver Open Media with my guest, William Rockwell. It's been a pleasure having you on my show. I hope you have a wonderful day.